Yeah, there's some really cringy stuff
on the internet.
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
Have you seen our channel?
Oh man,
dude,
you're right.
It's funny because it's like the more I watch, like the further you look back, like the more cringy it is, and stuff that's like, oh, that's not cringy, when you do it, but then you look back and it's like, man, was that cringy? There's like a time to cringe ratio. It's a parabolic curve. It's exponentially cringier.
So is it as the time increases, it gets more cringe?
Yes, that's how graphs work.
Oh, okay. I didn't
it's a
know
positive curve.
It's a positive curve?
Yes, it's a positive.
Not a negative curve?
No. Things don't get less cringy over time. No.
I get less cringy over time.
No, you don't.
The more time you spend with me, the less cringier I get.
You are a roller coaster of cringe that only goes up. There is no down for you. Okay.
Are you still with me, Blake?
I abandoned ship a long time ago.
Blake, we only have 2 more save slots. That's a lie.
We have actually 100.
You know what I miss, though?
What do you miss?
I miss the Joey is stupid.
Joey, you are stupid. Just imagine it's there. Just imagine.
It's not real, Blake.
It's not real. We're playing legit, which is not the real thing. We need to play the James version with screaming rabbit moons.
That was the best. Whenever it was like super serious, it was just like moon.
Okay, continuing. So, quick recap since it's been like a month since we recorded.
I'm sorry.
Apologies. So many apologies for the lack of Higurashi for the past couple weeks. Every time we were like planning on recording Higurashi, either didn't have enough time or something happened.
Yeah.
Or we were like, it's a time investment. And they were like, we don't have time today.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we got it today.
Let's get in it.
And we're going to be getting it back into it.
Maybe. Ooh. The year of the main story. The 4th year of the series of mysterious deaths in Anamizawa, also known as Oishiro-sama's curse, 1 year after Satoshi Hojo's disappearance. We're getting to the present. We are in the present, Joey. All of that was set up. Okay, here we go. I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Since I got a part-time job at my relative's store, I had some extra pocket money too. I ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to get to freely spend the money I earned from working. I still used the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It was a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there today. Damn that teacher! She told my parents that I was skipping classes! My dad got upset, and that was why I didn't want to stay at home. I've been asking for it, though. My teacher should know that my dad is a Yakuza, and that he gets really scary when he's mad. On the whole, my life had been going well so far, except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. It was a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. I was going grocery shopping and thought I'd get enough food for a week or so. My parents would appreciate my presence more after missing me for a week. I was doing this for their sakes. Oh? Oh, wait! Isn't there 100 yen sale today? Yeah, there is! I knew how to save my pocket money. I was in a good mood. I spun around with my arms spread out. Felt like I was inside a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow! What the?
This is where they meet.
Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave the motorcycle a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. They all fell like dominoes. It was beautiful and so much fun. Huh? This was odd. I felt like I'd gone through the exact same experience before. While blinking my eyes in an effort to recall when that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. It looked like these punks were the owners of the motorcycles. They started shouting at me. This was really strange. I was having deja vu.
The fuck you, bitch! The fuck you think you're doing? Huh?
Damn.
Fucking pushing the hitter, bitch! Ah! Gonna pay for what you did!
That's right. It was when I met Satoshi-kun for the first time. Ah, memories! He came to save me.
She's like getting flustered while she's getting.
If I pretended to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish. And I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. At that time, I doubted my ears. Cut it out! Can't you see she's crying? It was a boy about my age. I couldn't quite see his face because of the light illuminating him from behind. Satoshi-kun? Of course, it couldn't be him. It couldn't be.
Oh my god! You did it, Keiichi!
When I snapped out of my daydream, I realized that it wasn't Satoshi-kun after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi-kun, so to speak.
Oh.
If Satoshi-kun was pristine and untouched, then this guy would have scratches all over him. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow.
What the hell? What the fuck are you? You wanna get hurt or what? Fucking just say something! Some bitch!
Boy looked a bit taken aback. Ah, well, I just thought you might want to let her go because she's crying, so...
Huh? The fuck you think?
The fuck you think you're telling us what to do? Whoa, whoa, hold on. I'm against violence. What was up with this guy? I felt ashamed that I mistook him for Satoshi-kun even for a second. He seemed cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi-kun after all. Well, I mean, I'm sorry that your motorcycles were knocked down, but hope you don't feel too bad about it. How can I make you feel better? Of course, we don't have any money on us, you know?
If you don't got the money, if you got no money, you got to pay with your body. This chick's got some real nice boobies.
Oh my god.
Let's strip it down, see? Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hey, are you kidding me? I tightened my grip around the stun gun in my pocket. Then I turned it up to maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs.
I love it when girls get stripped down in those porn videos. This stripping is better than the actual sex.
Ugh.
They indulge in their imaginations, which arouse their spirits. Hey now, why are you perverts closing in on me? Your gross hands are groping the air. You gonna try and violate me?
Stripping's awesome. Stripper! Stripper! Ah, yeah! Let's strip her from the top to the bottom. Socks off. Should be as naked as a jaybird.
Hey, are you out of your mind? Don't touch me with those filthy hands. Then, a flash of light cut through the air. Was that the boy? You stupid fox! Blows like thunderbolts knocked the punks down. Wow, so he was actually strong after all?
What the hell? You want some? Ah! You don't have a clue! Idiots! What the fuck you on about?
There's nothing arousing about stark nakedness. Leave her socks on at least.
No matter what!
That is the ironclad rule. Oh, how I missed you, Keiichi. Listen up, monkeys. What's the difference between Homo sapiens and other animals? That's right. Humans wear clothes. Humans being without clothes are just animals. You get aroused only when the girl is completely naked. You are less than human. You might as well be animals. I'm going to knock some sense into you. Clench those teeth. You mentioned a porn movie, didn't you? Let's say there's a cosplay sex video. The definition of cosplay is too broad. To lecture on that subject is as difficult as explaining the spirit of Yamato to Yankees parachuting down from B-29s. So I'll limit the scope to the most popular one, school uniforms. What are the 3 most prominent divisions in the larger category of school uniforms? Answer me! That's right, regular uniforms, gym uniforms, and school swimsuits. Both the sailor style and blazer style are included under regular uniforms, by the way. Gym shorts and bloomers are likewise. And the color of preference between the white and navy school swimsuits is the same! Well, doesn't this sound exciting already? Let's say each of you has a preference in one of those 3 divisions. Hey, you, Delinquent A, you take the regular uniform. Delinquent B, you take the gym uniform. And you, Delinquent C, you take the school swimsuit. Picture the image in your head within 3 seconds. Are you done? That's not good enough. Do it again! Let's say there's a porn video of your favorite cosplay. Use your imagination. Come on! Say yes, sir, when you got it. Are you really military men, you maggots? Good. You all seem to have an image in your heads now. Let's move on. Imagine that your favorite cosplay is stripped entirely naked because of your stupid desire. Now, think! If you take all of their clothes off, that's not cosplay anymore, is it? That sort of video is rampant lately, it's just lamentable! Humans without clothes aren't civilized, they're animals! If only naked girls excited you, you'd be a pack of dogs, monkeys, or pheasants. Pack your bags and get out! Wait, get back here! As you know, a huge amount of Russian porn vids are going around lately, thanks to the end of the Cold War. You don't know that? Get out of here! I heard that a style called Beautiful Russian Girl Schoolgirl, which is a combination of the Japanese uniform fetish and some Russian thing, is emerging, but I'll never accept that! School uniforms are part of Japanese culture and art! Those stupid barbarians will never understand the Japanese spirit. Are you listening? You pathetic squid! Clench your teeth, I'll train you till you drop. I won't let you sleep until you're capable of perfecting your imagination skills.
Is he actually hitting them, or are they just dumbfounded?
Here comes my whip!
At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way. Marabara-san! I gathered some people. I saw several kids running towards us. It seemed like our backup had arrived.
Oh shit! Let's get out of here!
The 3 punks had just been standing there at gate, but they started running away when they saw that many people. You're awesome, Maribara-san. You had those punks transfixed all by yourself. One of them even had a nosebleed. You're so strong, Maribara-san.
Yeah.
Seems my personal aura has grown more powerful. If this keeps up, I'll soon surpass even Coach's Made in Heaven reality marvel. Anyway, are you alright, Mion? The boy was apparently called Marabara. He turned around to face me. Even the way he mistook me for Mion sounded like Satoshi-kun. But Satoshi-kun isn't a pervert like him. I was anxious to see how you'd fight back, but I guess 3 guys were too many, huh? I don't believe it! I was still confused. I couldn't yet grasp the situation. Who was this guy? Mion has friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock. So I forgot to move until his hand touched my head. Well, you know, I'll forget that I saw you cry. So, cheer up, okay? Rub. Rub. Oh. Boy called Marabara-san stroked my head roughly. It didn't feel good.
Oh.
It hurt, actually. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Keiichi Marabara. Kei-chan for short. He's 1 grade below us. Not only that, but he just moved to Hanamizawa. Thanks to his attitude and lack of manners, he had already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all of this. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him. But Satoshi-kun's way cooler. He wasn't worth stealing from Sis. Or was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. I felt like I'd gotten a new toy. I was curious as to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. I'd love to tease her about it. Thanks, Kei-chan. Let me buy you a drink. My uncle's restaurant is just nearby, so why don't we go there? Satoshi-kun would refuse out of modesty. But Keiichi Marabar said okay within 2 seconds. Well then, couldn't wait to tease the two of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again. Whoa! Hey, don't cling to my arm. Oh, don't you like it? Well, I don't hate it, but it's just your breasts that are touching me, and my breasts bother you.
God, Shion is so evil.
Keiichi Marabara was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She would always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me smile. I guess Kei-chan is really your favorite. Huh, sis? What's the most interesting thing about him? Let's see. To put it plainly, he's just funny. For example, just a couple days ago in the club, Mion really liked him, but didn't seem to think it was love yet. She's reserved in that area, so that was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him, but my feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi-kun. I wondered how Satoshi-kun was doing. Was he waiting for things to cool down somewhere far away? The case had already been solved, though. That dopehead was the murderer. There was no reason for him to wait anymore. I shook my head. I shouldn't think about it too much. Oh, wait, I know. The case was confidential, so the arrest of the culprit hadn't been made public. So, Satoshi-kun hadn't realized that he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Maybe he'd be waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, couldn't he give a call to Satoko at least? He should tell her he's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. That stupid Satoko. She'd been living with Rika Furude since Satoshi-kun went away. So nobody would pick up the phone even if he called. Stupid girl. Don't you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi-kun's personality, he wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home number. So he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Anamizawa. Maybe he's been calling Satoko every night. He keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. Then he'd assume Satoko might be taking a bath or be in the restroom. He'd put on a puzzled smile while mumbling, like always. I imitated his voice without realizing it. After that, what? Huh? What's up? Didn't you say something, Shion? I laughed it off and urged Mion to continue. I realized then that her tone had changed. I hadn't been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi-kun. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan, but Mion sounded grim now. Her faint smile looked pitiful. It was too late to ask what was going on, so instead I concentrated on her story instead. After all that, Uncle gave everybody a doll as a thank you gift. Everybody except for me. Okay, except for you. I wanted one too, but I couldn't say it in front of everybody. You still can't express your needs, huh? And then, Mion sniffled. I realized that she was on the verge of tears. The cutest doll was in Kei-chan's bag. And you wanted that doll? Didn't matter which one. But although Kei-chan knew only I didn't get one, he didn't give it to me. He didn't give it to me. He said the doll wouldn't fit me and that I should be born as a boy in my next life. That's what he said. That was Keiichi's weak point. He might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature. Not like Satoshi-kun. I want to start all over. I want to go back to when I just met him and start all over. I want him to treat me like a girl from the beginning. Don't take it too seriously. It'll be okay because it's just you who wants to start over, while he didn't even notice anything wrong. It'd be harder if you guys fought over it or something. Can I start over? If you didn't cry in front of him, it's not too late. You can cry as much as you want now, and if you show him a different side of you from tomorrow on, you can still fix it. Okay. I'm amazed how insensitive he is, but part of that is just the impression you've been giving him so far. If you change your attitude from tomorrow on, you can still change his mind. How do I change my attitude? How? If I tell you to act cute, you'd start going to school in frilly clothes, so don't think and just be natural. But without overdoing it, pay attention to how you behave around him. And don't forget to be cautious of Reina. She's a bit ahead of you so far. Kei-chan might prefer Reina at this point. It's true. Reina's really girly. She's cute and caring. That just means you can't slack off for even a moment, sis, because you've got a rival. Tears can attract men, but they don't anchor them. You should always be smiling, but cry when it really counts. That's how you typically do it. Maybe I should try that on Kei-chan myself. No, don't! He's the boy you like, so I guess it's natural that I like him too. How can I attract him? Hey sis, why don't we have a competition over him? No, never! I'll kick you into orbit if you come near Hinamizawa. I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. The boy I love is missing, you know? I don't even know where he is, or when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Mia was saying she'd do her best from tomorrow on with red, tearful eyes, but I sensed a deeply negative feeling emerging inside me. Nobody was blaming Mion for being happy with Keiichi. I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want her to be blamed the same way I was blamed. It was just that there was no space for Satoshi-kun in Mion's mind anymore. Filled as it was with Kei-chan and her other friends now. It didn't matter to her if Satoshi-kun came back, or not. Just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me, then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi-kun all the time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi-kun. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was getting used to life with Keiichi Marubara. And if I let my guard down, he might just fill up the space I'd been saving for Satoshi-kun. If Shion Sonozagi had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. Where did Satoshi-kun go? Last year, right after his disappearance, I'd paid close attention to the information circulating in the Sonozaki family and its underground connections. And I frequently went to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all that, I couldn't get any new leads on his whereabouts. I eventually became interested in Oishiro-sama's curse, which surrounded Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely his survival seemed. I'd returned Mio-san's scrapbooks to her, and then I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I'd made new friends, and in the same way, as falling leaves cover the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that summer was coming early, and it'd be very hot this year. Normally be the rainy season now, but we'd had no rain at all. The Watanagashi festival was right around the corner. Been almost a year since Satoshi-kun went missing. In Anamizawa, they don't allow you to talk openly about Oishiro-sama's curse, or the series of mysterious deaths. So everybody acts like the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt never happened. That's because Satoshi Hojo-kun was a member of the family of traders. He fell victim to Oishiro-sama's curse on the 4th year running. He was demoned away. Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. Don't make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi-kun was living in Anamizawa just a year ago. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of the Anamizawa Fighters. He could never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable, but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name, and it acted like he never existed. A new resident like Keiichi Marabara wouldn't even know him. He seriously believed that Satoshi-kun had transferred out. I miss you, Satoshi-kun. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be in a baseball game with you again, and get a cold drink afterwards. I want to tease you, and I want you to stroke my head again. Your hand was so warm. I felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi-kun. I haven't opened this notebook in a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me who's been sleeping since last year is slowly waking up.
So we're really close to the festival. I think we're gonna see where her and Mion switch places every now and then.
Yeah. I'm quite amazed by your dirty deeds, Keiichi-san. He is a boy after all. Nii-chan! Shi-chan! Keiichi looks confused! Oh! Did you hear that, sis? We're not playing tug-of-war here. Are you trying to tear Kei-chan apart? I'm not playing tug-of-war. You're the one who's stretching him. Go back to Okinomiya, Shion. Okay, I will. Oops. I let go of Keiichi suddenly, so he and Sis flew off like a rubber band. Keiichi rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in a bush head first. What lively people. See you, Kei-chan. Sis might assault me if I stick around any longer, so I'll get going. Oh, Shion. Thanks for today. Forget it. I didn't do much. See you, Shion. His hand landed on my head. Rub, rub, rub. He stroked my head pretty roughly, but the warmth reminded me. Excuse me, I'm going. See you, sis. Don't ever come here again. Reina, keep your eyes on her. Satoko, set traps. Riki-chan, purify this area with salt. The warmth remained on the top of my head. It felt ticklish and sore. I had to stop. I got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against a telephone pole. I don't know why I struggled to get through that sentence. It's the whole moped and pushed threw me off.
Moped and pushed?
Got off my moped. Moped. I'm an idiot.
Moped.
I got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against the telephone pole. Yeah, okay. It's very rare that I see moped written.
Moped?
Yeah.
I would have said the same thing. So.
Context! Context clues.
Moped.
I moped and pushed.
That looks like
Okay.
mopped.
You're done. I'm sorry, Satoshi-kun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She's gonna start banging her head against the pole.
I never forgot about you. I still remember you. I'm worthless without you. I can't stand life without you because it's gray and cold and boring.
Can I say something?
What?
Is it just me, or does she sound like she's starting to go crazy?
I think Keiichi's bringing back old memories and she's reverting back to her low point. She's getting very depressed again. I think this might trigger her to take action.
Yeah.
Because I think this
That's where I was hinting at.
opening an old wound might actually spur her to do something.
And if she sees Satoshi in Keiichi, seeing Keiichi and Mion together might trigger something.
Yeah, she is jealous for another reason. It's true. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here. I can't. See you, Shion. Keiichi's face appeared in my mind. I recalled the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy. It was rough and painful. I hate that insensitive guy. He's too childish, rude, and cold. He's like a stray dog. I wasn't happy. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy or overjoyed at all. No! Oh, it's Satoshi-kun! Satoshi-kun mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this, but he knew that he'd better say something. Wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say, so he just mumbled. I'm sorry, Shion. Why are you apologizing, Satoshi-kun? I'm the one who should apologize. Even though I said I'd wait for you, even though I believed my heart wouldn't change, my heart is full of holes. You're leaking out from the small cracks in my heart, little by little. You're leaking out from me. Are you suffering because I'm here? Why? You're so precious to me. So don't say that. I've been here with you all this time. But I think I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. I don't want that. That's not true! No, no, no! Where have you been, Satoshi-kun? You weren't with me. Tell me where you are. What's the address? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me! There isn't an address. I knew it. Telling me you've always been with me, always by my side. That's such a cliche. Which do you prefer, Shion? If I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away. Don't say that! I want to be with you, always. I want to be with you forever. Okay. I'll stay with you then. A car passed by. The noise snapped me out of my reverie. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should go home to Okinomiya. You're with me, right? Are you with me right now, Satoshi-kun? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank into the grass. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I stopped when I reached my bike. But then I heard an extra footstep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Woo!
Alright. I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around here. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me. So I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But he was definitely still there. Satoshi-kun? I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi-kun never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. I've just been too insensitive to feel his existence until now. It's a new song.
Yeah.
The creepy song.
Sounds like the Michael Myers thing.
It does kind of sound like that. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun!
She's getting a little crazy, man.
The breeze tickled my hair. It felt cold, but to me it was nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears.
There's no way it's ghosts. No way.
It can't be. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibilities. We are dealing with curses here. I was too scared to sleep. Yeah, I would be too.
You know, some...
If I went to sleep, I might not find Satoshi-kun there in the morning.
Oh, man.
Okay, fine. Whatever. So I kept talking to him until I passed out.
You're crazy.
She is going crazy. I told him about what happened while he was missing. I told him that I realized how much I loved him after he went away. I'd searched for him, looking into various different things. I'd gathered underground information through Kasai and bargained for police information with Oishi. I couldn't find any leads. A long time passed, but I kept thinking about him. etc., etc. I told him all the small details from my daily life. The places I wanted to go with him, the things I wanted to do with him, the food I wanted to share with him, and I told him a lot of things. I was sitting up at first, but I got tired, so I lay down. I got tired of moving my mouth, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I'd ever had.
This is blowing my mind, dude.
When I woke up, I didn't find Satoshi-kun by my side. I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That was why I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. Just when I'd resigned myself to that. I felt Satoshi-kun's presence again. It wasn't a dream after all. I thanked God. And so I began my strange life with Satoshi-kun. As promised, Satoshi-kun was always by my side. He couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head. But he was always with me. Always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed that all I could hear was his footsteps. That's just the way it was. It was a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in a crowd. But he never left me. If he were tangible, I'd be taking his hand all the time so that he wouldn't be lost. In contrast, I could feel him very strongly in a quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell what his expressions were because he was just a presence. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. At first, I could only tell if he was laughing or not. Eventually, I started to feel his emotions more strongly. I could communicate with him normally. I was usually alone with him, though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore. But Satoshi-kun got upset about that. He'd keep mumbling unhappily. Now that I knew he'd always be with me, I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my time alone with him, however, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again, and I wanted to make the most of the time I was sharing with him right now. I must have been worrying too excessively. Satoshi-kun will always be by my side. Yeah. That was his promise. He never breaks his promises. I was fine because he was there. Of course, I couldn't tell anybody about him. Not even Sis. I could try to explain it to them, but they'd never understand. But I was certain that he was with me. So, I'd be alright. I never got fed up with life with him. He's really cute, you know? We always walk together. But when I stop, he always walks one extra step. That's so adorable. I love it.
That's not your boy!
It's actually Oshiro-sama right behind you. Shion-san, what are you gonna do on Watanagashi this year?
I guess I'll have some fun at the festival. Maybe I'll tease Sis and her friends. I wanted to go to the festival with Satoshi-kun. I knew he'd like to see me having fun with everybody. He might get jealous if I play with Kei-chan. But Satoshi-kun isn't very sensitive in that way.
Ooh.
What's your thought process right now, Joey?
The thing gets jealous of Kei-chan.
And goes after Keiichi?
No. Tells her, she says that she can feel his feelings. So if Satoshi gets jealous, he's gonna communicate that to Shion, that he's jealous, and what do you think Shion's gonna do?
What's she gonna do?
She's gonna kill Keiichi.
Okay. Let's
Am I
take
crazy?
that. I don't think you're crazy. Not as crazy as Shion. But let's take that thought, let's put a little folder, and label it for later.
Okay.
Let's just set that aside for now. We'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
Satoshi-kun loved to see me and my friends have fun. So, I should have a lot of fun for his sake. Then I talked about the day with him later.
How are you going to Namizawa? I can give you a ride if you want.
I'm taking my moped, so you don't have to.
That won't do. Aren't you going to the family party afterwards? I can't let you drive under the influence.
He won't let me drive, but he's kind enough to let me drink. Alright, take me then.
Good. Let's leave before nightfall. I'll come pick you up around that time.
After Kasai left, I sensed that Satoshi-kun was excited about going to the festival. Once in Higurashi, huh? So it's been almost a year since you went away. Satoshi-kun seemed confused. I bet you're going all, right now, aren't you? We laughed together.
Stop it. Stop it, Shion. Don't hang her with the curse.
This is just the most confused demon behind her. It's like, what the fuck? Welcome! Here's your net in a bowl.
Great! Wow, these fish are so active. They look delicious. I could eat this little one raw right here. Huh?
Oh.
What are you saying, Mion? Mii-chan! You eat goldfish? Did you eat the one I gave you last year too? No, I didn't say that! Sis shook her head hard. She turned all red.
But you just said it. You said they look delicious.
I heard it too. Sis eats everything as long as it fits inside her mouth. If it's really good, I'll try it once.
Oh no.
No! You can't, Meikashi! You're going to get sick!
I missed this.
Wait a minute. Hey, you. How long have you been here, Shion?
Hi, Kei-chan, Sis, and everyone else. Good evening. Ah! When did you get here, Shion? I've been here since you were at the chow mein booth. I found you guys quickly since you were making so much noise. Hey, you're not in our club. Get lost. Don't be so mean, sis. Right? Kei-chan? You're fine if I come with you guys, right? I took Kei-chan's arm and held it between my breasts. Puff, puff. We were going to have a ball.
Oh.
What happened?
Mio knocked her the fuck out.
I went around the booth with Sis and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I teased Kei-chan and Sis too. Kei-chan was at the center of the group, so if I did something to him, it naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Satoshi-kun was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. If he were tangible, I'd pull his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad that I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It was obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. As it turned out, it was somebody I knew.
Boom! Knew it.
Hiya.
Oh. Looks like you're having fun. Good evening, Shion-chan. The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it? Oh, it's been forever, Takano-san! And you were...
Nice to meet you. I'm Tomitake.
Well, you're gonna die.
I heard you were Mion-chan's twin sister.
Nice to meet you too, Tomitake-san. I heard you were a great cameraman. Please take a picture of me someday.
I'm just an amateur dreaming of going professional.
Well, you're actually great, Jiro-san. You're good at many things.
Whoa.
No, I need to study more. I have no talent, so I have to put out a lot of effort to compensate.
They must have been in a relationship.
Uh,
You two look so happy together. Am I interrupting you? Oh no, I appreciate your consideration, but you're not interrupting us at all. And you can call me Mio like before, not Takano-san. It's a bit hard for me to call someone older than me by their first name. Well, never mind. I smiled bashfully and Takano-san smiled back elegantly. I haven't seen you in the library since. I wanted to talk to you more as a fellow researcher. Well, when I feel like it.
As a fellow researcher, are you interested in it too, Shion-chan? I mean, in the legend of this village,
Tomitake raised his eyebrows. As far as I knew, Takano-san's hobby wasn't exactly normal. On the surface, her research dealt with the cultural history of ancient Hanamizawa, but its main focus was the Watsunagashi festival from ancient times. The cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Her research covered various stories surrounding that, and other legends of cruelty. It was nothing if not gory. That was where her main interests lay. So I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest. But objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then I heard the loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Watsunagashi Festival, the dedication dance, was about to start. According to Takano-san's hypothesis, the part of the dance where the shrine maiden tears open a futon mat represents gutting a living victim. It's starting. I should head over. Aren't you guys coming to see Rika-chan's performance? Tomitake looked bewildered. Did that mean he wasn't coming? Takano-san giggled, then whispered in my ear. To tell you the truth, we're thinking of sneaking into the ritual storehouse. Eh? She made it sound like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to anyone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. The ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for ritual implements, is sort of a treasure house belonging to the Furude Shrine. I'd heard that Oishiro-sama's sacred treasures were stored in there. Only people from the Furude family and selected members of the other 2-3 families are allowed to enter. They believe that if other people enter, the place will be desecrated. Everybody in Hanamizawa must have been curious about what was in there when they were kids. But the storehouse was always tightly locked. You couldn't just peek into it either. Kids would get chided if they were playing around it, so they'd learn to stay away. I didn't like being around it myself since I was familiar with all that. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. Nothing good can come from breaking the rules. Were they still going to enter the ritual storehouse despite all that? I'm pretty sure it's tightly locked. It was until last year. Rika-chan had the heavy bolt changed to a cheap padlock, because the bolt was too heavy for her to lift. Did you know that? No. But even if it's cheap, it's still locked, isn't it? Jiro-san is very skilled. Oh, are you? Good at lock picking? Once the Watsunagashi ritual starts, everybody will gather around the stage, right? And the area around this storehouse will be completely devoid of people. Tonight, this place will be a blind spot. Can't see the forest for the trees, I suppose. According to her hypothesis, the ancient tools used for human dissection and torture would be found in the ritual storehouse. Why don't you join us in a bit? It's now or never. So, maybe I'll see you then.
Takano-san, what are you telling her?
Just girl talk. Let's go to some dark place for a quick date. Hee.
Huh?
Takano-san walked against the flow of the crowd alongside Tomitake-san. The ritual storehouse, huh? It was supposedly filled with torture tools. Considering what they had in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, that's quite possible. Satoshi-kun fell victim to the curse in the 4th year. His aunt's death was the sign of Oishiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun was the sacrifice to pacify Oishiro-sama's anger. That was what Takano said last year. It was just her hypothesis. At present, I wanted to deny her hypothesis because I wanted to believe that Satoshi-kun was still alive. If her hypothesis was correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to revive the ancient custom of Onigashfuji. That would mean that it was them who killed Satoshi-kun. So what if the ritual storehouse was filled with garbage instead of torture implements? Maybe it was filled with broken palanquins or freshly painted signboards for the festival. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with a chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Satoshi-kun was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself.
That's why she was freaked.
Whatever was in there, it didn't mean that Satoshi-kun would come back. Satoshi-kun, what should I do? Since most people went to see Rikachama's ritual dance, the festival grounds were deadly quiet. Even so, I could sense Satoshi-kun. Did he go somewhere? Or was I not paying enough attention? Or maybe he wasn't feeling any emotions in particular. After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with him. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I'd been avoiding the truth because I was afraid he might be dead. But now I had a chance. I had a chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. I felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Keiichi. He was jumping up and down, trying to see Rika-chan's dedication dance over people's shoulders. If I took him along, we could split the guilt. Oishiro-sama might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse. I wanted a partner in crime. Since the boy I loved disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year. Whoa, what am I thinking? That must have been the demon inside of me. I shook the thought out of my head. What's going on, Shion? Where's the best place to see Rika-chan's dance from? Is it far? Huh? I never said I was going to show you that. We made it to the ritual storehouse. Keiichi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomitake-san picking the lock.
We know what happens there.
Even though Keiichi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake-san joined in.
God.
It was completely dark inside, so Takano-san lit a battery-powered lantern. A small entry space appeared before us. It's so dark in here. Take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san closed the door with a smile, as if leaving Tomitake-san out on purpose. Man. Alright, everyone, have fun. As soon as the heavy door was closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could really rely on was Takano-san's lantern. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Takano-san teased Keiichi a little. Keiichi in turn looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building, even though he wasn't from Inamizawa. Let's go in. Here we go. There. After Takano-san opened the heavy inner door, a dusty, foul smell flowed out. It was like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years, and the smell of a fish market mixed together. Didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. From listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell that this room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano-san raised her lantern, I could clearly see just how big it was. Wow! At the far side of the wall, there was a statue of some kind of god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave it a powerful appearance, and it scared me. That's the guardian god of Inamizawa, Oishiro-sama. I looked up at the statue, which was holding its religious ornaments. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance really was a curse, I couldn't forgive this god.
Oh no.
I found myself irritated by the way the statue looked down at me. Damn you, Oishiro-sama. If you really made Satoshi-kun disappear, I'll never forgive you. Never. Keiichi didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. Takano-san noticed that and took out her scrapbooks to show him the brutal history of ancient Hanamizawa. I had heard that story already, so I decided to walk around by myself.
She's gonna do something.
Since I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out at me, I still found them intimidating. They looked as if they were craving for fresh blood after not having been used in hundreds of years. All the tools looked similar to the ones I saw in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki main house. If those tools were the progenies of torture implements, these would be their ancestors. All the implements here looked old. I doubted they could really be used. They weren't kept maintained like the ones in the Sonozaki house. So, did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. They told me that cruel rituals were indeed performed in this village at one point. Now that I found scary. What Takano told me was the truth. When I stopped, Satoshi-kun also stopped behind me one step later. I felt no emotional change in Satoshi-kun. I couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. I knew he was there, but I had no idea how he was feeling. I felt scared of him for the first time. If he could answer me, I'd want to ask him, who demoned you away? Hey Satoshi-kun, are you listening? I couldn't tell if he heard me or not. He left as if he didn't hear anything. I could tell that he'd been sulky ever since we got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. I realized then that there was an altar in front of the statue. He might be there. It was a clean altar. An altar ornamented with religious artifacts. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, the flowers in the vase weren't wilting. I saw a pretty handkerchief under the vase. It looked out of place amongst everything else. I was fairly certain it was Rika Furude's handkerchief. That would mean that this storehouse is maintained daily. It wasn't a forgotten ruin buried in dust. So the brutality that dwelled in this ritual storehouse is still alive and well in Namizawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Oishiro-sama's curse is nothing more than a simple delusion of the villagers. As Takano-san said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. I'd accuse Oishiro-sama of demoning away Satoshi-kun, but Oishiro-sama is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. The series of mysterious deaths in Namizawa is the result of human action. It shouldn't be called Oishiro-sama's curse. If Satoshi-kun was the fourth year's victim, then he was victimized by a human being who just was acting the part of a curse. The person who demoned away Satoshi-kun must not be very far from me. The truth behind Satoshi-kun's disappearance was not so far from my grasp. Thump. I was startled by the sound. It sounded like somebody had dropped something. I looked over at Takano-san and Keiichi. Takano-san was still lecturing him. Did she drop her scrapbook or something? Thump, thump, thump. The sound came from right behind me, not from them. I never heard Satoshi-kun do that. It sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? The sound continued, ignoring my question. Though I heard it right nearby, it sounded as though a child was hopping on a wooden floor somewhere distant. What's wrong, Satoshi-kun? Are you angry about something? I couldn't read his expressions. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion from him at all. Was he mad that I touched the altar? Maybe you weren't supposed to do that. It's not that I'd be able to communicate with Satoshi-kun in an accurate way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. I didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. Then a chill ran up my spine. It felt as if my pores were opening. I've been thinking that it was Satoshi-kun stomping on the floor. Hey, you. You're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? The sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or no, just silence. Satoshi-kun wouldn't scare me like that. I realized suddenly that the sound hadn't come from Satoshi-kun. A cold shiver shot through my feet, and I sprung a step backward. The sound had come from right there. Even though I jumped back, I was still just a few meters away. Satoshi-kun would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked. But if that wasn't Satoshi-kun, then there was no guarantee I'd hear his footsteps. So, that invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes. and I just wouldn't see it? I forgot everything and ran, straining my eyes as much as possible for any sound, listening for any footsteps pursuing me. I ran right into Keiichi and clung to him, timidly turning back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar was quiet, like nothing was happening. But seeing that chilling, dark stillness, realizing I was just in that space, made me even more frightened now. What's up, Shion? Did you get scared? Keiichi made fun of me. Even though he looked horrified just a little while ago, he now looked satisfied to see me scared too. I know girls tend to get freaked out by haunted houses. Well, I don't mind it. Anyway, let's go, before Takano-san leaves us behind. I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure if I was able to hide my fear entirely. The footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern as if they couldn't get into the light. The presence never left us, however. It followed us like a fourth member of the party. Sometimes it made a stomping sound as if wanting some recognition. But neither Takano-san nor Keiichi seemed to notice it. It was possible for Takano-san to be ignoring it, but Keiichi would never ignore it. If he could hear it, he would have said something. So, just like with Satoshi-kun, only I could hear it. What was this thing that was making me so scared? Was it Satoshi-kun in a bad mood? Was it possible that the presence I believed to be Satoshi-kun might not have been him at all? What are you upset about, Satoshi-kun? Tell me if I did something wrong. I'll apologize. If you aren't Satoshi-kun, then where did he go? When did you take his place? Shion, are you alright? Huh? I'm fine. You look pale, though. And I'd appreciate it if you didn't stretch my clothes too much. Oh, sorry. Oh? Am I interrupting you two? Hee. I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. I didn't hear the sound as much, and it became a bit more distant. I shouldn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise. Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right? What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. She smiled at me like a witch. Marabara-kun, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Oishiro-sama's curse or be made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then will I be thrown into Onikafuchi Swamp while still alive? And it is tonight, you know. The night of Oishiro-sama's curse. It certainly is. If the curse strikes for a 5th time, it'll happen tonight.
Jeez.
Takano-san pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag and started turning the pages. She opened it to the page with that one article. It was the article about the brutal murder of the Wachanagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji era. This is a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of a murder in Onikafuchi village. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity.
I feel like it's getting angrier
Pissed.
whenever...
When you talk about it. Hey, you guys seriously don't hear that? It's freaking loud. How can you not hear it? Oh, hell, it's freaking noisy. Cut it out already. And the next moment, we all heard a squeaking noise. We turned around in surprise. It was just Tomitake-san opening the door. Did I startle you? Oh, Chiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san laughed as if making fun of Tomitaki-san for being such a scaredy cat. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over, and everyone's going down to the river. The festival as a whole will be over in minutes. Time was up. I never expected that Tomitaki-san would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic. Oh? Geichi-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I went into the entry room and turned around. Takano-san was taking photos in a mad rush, though our time was up. I didn't hear that sound anymore. I didn't feel that presence. I didn't feel Satoshi-kun either. But somehow I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out here. I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else.
Dude. So many things happened. So many.
Okay.
It's just like throwing
Now
it
what
as-
I want to know is, will we finally get some answers about Tomitake and Takano's deaths? At least something? Defilers is the name of the new achievement. Alright, let's read these 3 new tips. More notebook pages. Ooh. 20. About 15 to 20 after Shion has made a new friend.
That should be an achievement. Let's make some new friends.
Shion's imaginary friend.
Oof. Ooh.
That underground torture room is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. So do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing? According to Takano-san's theory, bloody rituals including Watanagashi have been passed down among the 3 families even after the Meiji era. The rituals are always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always revolved around torture, so Hanamizawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano-san's theory is correct. The underground storehouse of the Sonozaki house looked well maintained. Takano-san is right about that, too. Since the Sonozaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one, too.
Ooh.
After all, these ancient and brutal customs are still handed down through the generations. I should remain armed with the knowledge that occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village.
So, what if the 3 families aren't getting along? They're
possible.
They're just putting on a facade,
Putting on a
basically.
front, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Hard to say. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Oishiro-sama. Of course I knew that, since I'm originally from Inamizawa. But violating that sanctity is actually a more serious problem than I thought. Takano-san's research shows that the history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. The ritual implements within have long been viewed as inviolable objects, which is why it was strictly forbidden to enter. Takano-san's theory says that Watanagashi was once a public execution, performed to stabilize the reign of the 3 families rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the ritual should hardly be called sacred. Under those circumstances, the implements should have been despised as symbols of hatred and fear. When instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror, but keeps them as hidden as possible, and they gain divinity. Many say that they would become tainted if the layman touched them. The only reason for that was to preserve their false prestige through secrecy, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, their true identity of this ritual storehouse's sacredness was fear. That was the true emotion ruling over this village. And lastly, the reason why Takano-san and Tomitake-san were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported at the highest level of the curse system. That's because, considering the distance between the village and the site where Takano-san's body was found, she must have been killed right after we came out of the ritual storehouse.
But that doesn't add up.
No, it does not.
Because she saw Keiichi
On the nights during the Tatsuri-Goroshi arc,
Yeah.
it's theorized that Tomitake was in the trunk of her car. That's my theory. Takano's death just raises so many, so many red flags for me, though. Just
It was found. Where was it found? Up in the mountains, wasn't it? Somewhere?
Yeah. And that's sort of where the shrine is, where the storehouse is. 'Cause it's like behind Furude's shrine in the mountains. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, but that the plan had been set up a long time ago. They might have been secret agents of the Sonozaki family, but the latter sounds more valid. But if so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into this ritual storehouse?
That's a good point.
I mean,
Because we guessed that whenever... Because we found Rika dead. We said that her death was from her putting the little
yes,
padlock on.
ruining the sanctity.
Yes. Keiichi... the 4 others were because they
for
broke...
intrusion. But that makes it an odd number.
Didn't Satoko disappear too?
You know what? You might be right. Again, I have not reread the Watsunagashi arc.
No one saw Satoko.
I want to think Satoko disappeared too. They briefly mentioned it that she and Rika were dead. Alright, but a lot happens. Keiichi's back. Tomitake's back. Was back.
Because he's gonna be dead in the next
He
episode.
died.
Tomitake died.
He gets less and less screen time with each arc. They're just so quick to kill him off.
He's just like, oh, I'm Tomitake.
What's up? I'm going over here.
Get your throat clawed out.
Yeah. Claws his own throat out.
Did they say that?
Yeah. He clawed at his own throat.
Right.
That was the big thing of the first arc.
Yeah.
Because then at the end, Keiichi was doing the same thing. He was clawing at his own throat. And I want to think in the previous chapters as well, it's briefly mentioned that it was him clawing at his own throat, Tomitake's death.
I think the last time that we talked about,
The clawing?
not the clawing, the last episode we talked about Takano and Irie. Didn't we? We talked about
Separately.
Yeah,
I don't think those two parties are involved at all.
What if they're working together? Because she's a nurse.
I don't think so.
She's a nurse.
I know.
He's a doctor.
It just seems very unlikely.
And this sounds like some kind of drug that makes you go insane.
I don't know. I don't think Irie is on the other side. I don't think so. Because he dies in the Tatsuri-Goroshi arc as well. Keiichi wished for him to kill himself, and he
It
did.
did.
So that throws it completely out.
Dang it. I'm so, lost.
Hear me out on this one.
Okay.
Takano fakes her death.
Okay.
Because...
But then that could mean Irie fakes his death, too.
I don't know, it just seems something that Takano would do. Takano's very suspicious.
You're not suspicious of the guy that likes maids.
No, that's just a fetish thing. Don't kink shame people.
Okay. Not king shaming, by the way.
He totally is.
I'm not.
The brony is
Okay.
kink shaming.
Do not even put me.
You are.
Mmm.
You are technically in that category. You are.
You guys put there.
You guys labels me. I didn't label me.
You guys. Okay, so what were you going to say?
Normal people.
What were you going to say about Takano?
I said it.
Fakes her own death,
I have a
then
theory
what?
she fakes her own death.
Then what?
I don't know. It's fucking... Didn't we theorize last time that she was probably behind, like, a third party?
Yeah.
Like, maybe she was, like, into the occult stuff, so she tries recreating it. And so now she goes into the ritual storehouse to try to be more accurate and using the same tools.
That would be terrifying. But the other thing that I'm seeing, it said in this one, it said that the Sonozakis and the Furude family have
Their own storehouses.
their own storehouses. That means the third family should have their own storehouses.
Yes.
What if they all have different ideas of how the town should be ran?
Then I feel like there would be a lot more deaths. It's very systematic right now. Or at least up to this point.
Exactly.
It's when it gets to the 5th year that there's a few more than 2 deaths.
There's 6.
2 times 3 is 6.
Whoa!
Quick maths.
Quick math.
I mean...
Everyone has their own motive.
Okay. What's the motive of the third family?
Don't know.
Missing out?
You guys don't pay attention to us.
You
Yeah.
guys, why are you guys the only ones that get to murder? I want to murder too. So, wait a second. Rika is the only person left of the Furude family. She's the head of the Furude family. You're telling me little Rika is killing people?
She places a freaking handkerchief in the hand of Orishiro.
Because she's supposed to take care of the shrine.
You don't think that would make you a little cuckoo?
I think everyone's a little cuckoo. But is she gonna go kill people? I don't know.
Dude, she tells Keiichi.
She dies!
She tells Keiichi that she'll take care of Mion. Whenever Keiichi is feeling freaked out.
Okay, which time?
Okay. Whenever
Are you,
him and
are, you,
Rika's...
are you talking about the
where he
Watsunagashi arc?
where him and her talk,
Yes.
and she's like, "It's okay.
Everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine. I'll handle it." Is what Rika
And
says.
then you never see her again.
Yep.
Meaning she was probably killed by
By
Mion or
siding with the outsider.
Chiyo. Yeah. By siding with the one that is to be killed.
Man.
There's still room for conjecture in these answer arcs.
I don't think we're gonna get an answer until the answer. The last one.
The after party of the final one. Oh yeah, this is what actually happened.
So if you're confused, or they're gonna do that thing where it's like, it's up to conjecture.
It's up to your interpretation.
Exactly.
Although, those thumps... I don't know, man. That was some spooky goose shit.
That's all in her head, man.
Yeah, but think about this.
If
The
you
extra
go crazy,
Here's what I'm thinking. The link between everyone that goes missing, or if you're Reina, the common thread is the extra footstep. And it seems like with Chion going into that place, damning Oyashiro-sama, and then hearing of more past, like the footsteps that behind her, they're getting stomping. They are pissed and might take action. Or it's something else. Maybe it's not angry. but it's like, yes, you're getting to the truth. I was the corpse. I was the dead person. I was the original.
Yeah. Maybe he's not angry.
Maybe he's just trying to save them. A cry for help. They know they're doomed, so they're just trying to assist them.
Maybe the corpse... No, I'm not gonna say that because that's crazy. Never mind.
Here's another idea. Maybe Oyashiro-sama is the one that's the footsteps, but knows who's gonna be the target and is trying to warn them.
Oh my god!
What if it's the flip?
I don't know. That's a wild one.
You got me excited with that one, Blake. Ooh.
It's like, what if Oyashiro-sama not actually evil? It's like, guys,
Get
I
out.
told you this.
Get out.
We don't... No cannibalism. Come on! You pray to me every day. You should know what I want. I just want a little peace and quiet.
Because we talked about this. We don't know what kind of god
We still don't know.
Oyashiro-sama is.
Yeah.
We don't know
still
if
don't
he's
know.
evil.
We don't know the legend. We don't know the myths. We just know
That people-
Here's the only thing we know. People and demons lived amongst each other because Oyashiro-sama saw over them.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened, and we don't have that anymore. I don't remember what happened.
You know what's funny, Blake?
What?
No, I'm laughing so hard.
What?
I don't remember either.
You take that memory, pluck it, and throw it away. You never remembered it.
I don't remember what it was either that stopped them from being able to coexist together.
I feel like it's a very important detail. Especially when it comes to the question of who is Oyashiro-sama and what do they do? What do they like?
What foods do they like?
What sport are they into? These are the questions we must know. We need answers.
But we probably already have them.
Madden or NBA 2K? Come on, Oyashiro-sama, make a choice!
Oh man.
Alright, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.